The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
Melania came out of nowhere with a shock statement on Epstein.
I never had a relationship with Epstein.
But that was immediately upstaged by the blinds behind her. But the timing raised a different set of questions, because at that moment, this wasn't what people were talking about.
It's time for Breaking Absurdity, your daily reminder that this is not normal. Brought to you by It's Not Satire. Subscribe today to catch every ridiculous moment.
At the time this statement was made, the focus wasn't on Melania Trump. It was on escalating tensions around Iran and fractures with Donald Trump's own base. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, a statement about her relationship to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell gets introduced into the conversation, not as a response to a current wave of attention, but as a preemptive denial. And that matters, because timing shapes attention. Part of that statement included a warning to be cautious of fake images circulating online, which on its face sounds reasonable, but it also introduces something else, a layer of doubt over everything. So I decided to test that. I posted a set of verified, authentic photos of Melania Trump with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and asked a simple question: which of these are fake? The response was immediate, not confusion, but recognition. People weren't being fooled, they were reacting to the contradiction. Because the reality is, those images weren't fabricated. They were documented, verified, and that's where the tension comes in. The statement didn't directly deny those images, but it cast a shadow over them, creating just enough ambiguity to make people question what they were seeing. And that's what people were responding to, not just the images, but the framing around them. Some pointed out the irony immediately. Others pushed back, arguing that proximity doesn't mean anything, that public figures appear in all kinds of photos, and that divide is the point. Because perception here isn't just about the moment, it's shaped by what people already believe to be true. And all of this happened because the topic was reintroduced, not by the public, but by Melania herself. When something is brought up to shut it down, it doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it resets the entire conversation. And this is where something else starts to emerge, because if you watch enough of these moments, there's often something that feels just slightly off. Not necessarily wrong, but out of place, out of sync. Even in the opening, the blinds rising behind Melania Trump mid-statement, it's subtle, but it adds to a broader pattern, moments that don't quite match the setting they're in. Take this example. For years, there's been a running joke online about Melania's delivery. Measured, controlled, almost mechanical.
Coming through, we have the Melania Trump robot.
Will she be missed?
We put dress on broomsticks so nobody will notice for a few hours.
Hello? Where am I? Why isn't everything made of gold?
So when she gives a speech and says,
The robots are here.
it doesn't exactly quiet the internet. If anything, it gives it more material. Because at a certain point, the jokes start to write themselves. Then there's this moment addressing the Navy.
Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy! Hooyah, Navy!
Which, again, on paper, completely normal, but the delivery just feels slightly offbeat. And if you've watched a few of these Breaking Absurdity episodes, you'll start to notice a pattern. It's rarely just one strange moment. It's actually how, in this administration, everything seems to be, well, out of place, absurd, and just plain shocking. If you want to catch up on the rest of the series, I've linked the full Breaking Absurdity playlist at the end of this video. There are actually so many of these moments once you start looking for them. And this isn't a one-off. In Donald Trump's second term, Melania has increasingly been positioned around themes like AI, technology, the future, which is interesting because it's not something she's traditionally been associated with. At one point, she delivered a speech to students about artificial intelligence, highlighting its promise, while warning against over-reliance, a fairly standard message, but the delivery made it harder to follow than expected.
Do you want to build the next dress to impress empire? But what do you need to start? You need to harness your imagination and how to think beyond the worst answer. The world of possibility is endless, but we must remember, only humans can generate meaning and purpose.
And then, more recently, she walks out alongside an actual robot to a room full of world leaders. And it's not just the robot. Watch their reactions, because at a certain point, even the people in the room seem to be processing it in real time.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House. It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inaugural meeting. I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America. I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome. Laskavo prossimo. Dobrodošli. Thank you.
And once something reaches that level of visibility, it doesn't stay contained. It gets picked up, reframed, and turned into satire.
Okay.
Never have I ever been friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Is that Melania Trump?
Why do you keep bringing up all the Epstein stuff?
Yeah, like, your husband literally started a war to distract us from it.
It was kind of working, to be fair to the lad.
I have no friends since they all randomly died in a maximum security prison.
Because by that point, the narrative has already taken hold. What we're seeing here isn't about any one clip.
Hooyah, Navy.
It's about timing, a statement introduced when attention was somewhere else, that redirects focus and sends people back through everything that came before it.
The robots are here.
And once that happens, the past doesn't stay the same. Clips that once felt natural start to feel different, not because they've changed, but because the lens has. None of this exists in isolation, not the statement, not the photos, not the reaction. It's what happens when timing, framing, and attention all collide at once.
And there you have it, another day in American politics where absurdity meets reality, and sometimes reality can't keep up. If you want more of this, you know the drill. Subscribe, follow, hit the bell, and join me for the next round of Breaking Absurdity. I'm It's Not Satire, and trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.